Hi everybody, so today I wanted to make this video using 2 to 3 different ways that you can program quartz, clear quartz, milky quartz, not just towers or points, but tumbles. So we are going to only do 2 high vibrational, 2 mid, and 2 low gentle vibration stones that are easily accessible, because I know some people don't have the money to spend a lot on crystals. So it's easy to have your base as quartz, being the fact that quartz is a master healer. It can take any energy that you needed as a borrow, but you still have to give it back. So first things first, we are going to sage so no negative energy can come through. We call upon our guides. So we intuitively understand how to do this process according to Spirit's divine will, God's source, the universe's divine will. So thank you. If you hear noise in the kitchen, my room is down the hall from the kitchen, and the women in my family right now are currently making Christmas goodies. And Stu, the dog, is licking himself. So if you hear him in the background, just FYI. Some cinnamon to ground out. And we have some sages to thank you for the energy of these stones as we borrow them for this knowledgeable video. For the highest energy, thank you for letting us borrow. Thank you to Spirit for coming through and intuitively talking to us. And thank you to the quartz. It's very important that you thank the crystals and thank you to the quartz. So, move that around. Put that over here. So let's start with our high vibrational. We have charoite. We have different versions of charoite. So I would say charoite. What did I put charoite? So we put moldavite and charoite as high vibrational. We have, so this is charoite. This is moldavite. Our lows, so this is blue water opal, and these have been submerged in water. So blue opals, Peruvian water opal specifically. So these have been clarified, meaning they've been sitting in water, so they have this aquatic nature to them, this color, versus their dry counterparts. We're more kind of like antifreeze. And we have opal. So opals are one of my absolute favorite healers, being the fact that they heal the heart space, they can heal the sacral, and also enhance your intuition. So I have 3 different versions. This is boulder opal, this is blue opal, and I have this. So this is opal dust. So I actually had this made, so it has fire, cotton candy, and then green and blue. So this is all like shavings and dust when they go to polish or cut the stone. And yeah, so this was made for me last year or the year before, and this was my very first opal piece. And then over a while I just collected. My actual first piece of opal was this specific opal, which is a Ethiopian willow opal. And I picked this blue one up the other day along with this white one. And I have a couple cabs, meaning it's jewelry quality, that make for rings or for earrings. And then for our mid, we have Larimar and Seraphinite. So I will get into this. So we have rose quartz as well. That is a great healer for the opal. So rose quartz will make our healer, and it's a very gentle but yet powerful healer for the emotional, sacral, and heart spaces. And also giving yourself love and being gentle with your mind. So with that being said, we are going to get into it with our with our lows first. So I will show you our opals I showed you. So I also have moonstone. So moonstone is also a very good, powerful, intuitive. So this is great for your your heart space as well, being the fact that your heart space is very emotional, but it's also good for your psychic intuitiveness. So moonstone gets its name for the moon. So you would charge this under the moon. You would charge rose quartz under the moon. Opal is a toss-up depending on what you actually have. So this is what I have. So I would say this is kind of mid. So this is a polish. This is raw. So again, this is pretty low. I have blue. So this is not as deep. So it almost looks gray. And then I have this deep pink color. And this one has basically the lines. So this is almost like a star energy. So the deeper the color, the higher the grade. So as you can see, this is the deeper version and this is the egg. So this would be more through the womb. With eggs, this deals with the feminine. So with that being said, you are going to start by picking whatever rose quartz that you have. And or if you don't, there are two ways we're going to do this. So let's say you take your clear quartz. So before I have done anything with this, I have discharged them in advance. So meaning I have saged them and I've cleaned them to amplify. And I took it up a step and actually charged them for about 12 hours out in the sunlight in the morning up until like afternoon. So this is already infused with solar energy. So there are an ethical and a non-ethical way to do this. We are going to scan on one way, and this is why I said it's a toss-up, because it's ethical and it's not ethical. Is with permission, you can scan rose quartz and pull the energy and let it mimic in your quartz. Or if no one's going to let you scan, you can take it in your hand, take the quartz, and ask Spirit, the universe, Spirit, I deeply need rose quartz, high vibration energy because of X, Y, and Z. And explain, you know, like I need heart healing, I need inner child healing, I need soothing, I'm having trouble with my mind, I need calm and serene. Please, will you give me rose quartz energy? And you just meditate with it. Just quiet your mind and imagine pink flames or pink light being infused into the very core of this energy, or the rainbow. As you can see, because I don't know if you can see that, well, you probably can't pick it up, but right there, there is a window that has rainbow that I can see. And just ask that the center be infused. And that's all you do. And now if you were to scan it, another way is please discharge that energy. Ethically, you would ask permission to be like, hey, can I scan your rose quartz? You would basically go like this. You would hold the crystal up. Clear quartz, rose quartz. Will you please allow for this quartz to scan your energy and to pull and be infused? Please and thank you. And you would basically scan it. And there you go. There's two ways. And now this is ethical and non-ethical as long as you have permission to do it. You can't go to a rock shop and just pull that energy because you're only borrowing it for a limited time. You have to give it back. You can't just keep charging. Eventually it's going to go away and when you're done. So that is one way. Two ways you can program. So our opals. Now, opal and moonstone is pretty cheap. Opals, not so much. They actually are starting to get expensive, being the fact that depending on where you get them and the color and where they are, you have fire opal too, which is one of the more expensive, the black opal down from Australia. This is boulder opal, so you can't really see it because of the lighting and that, but there is a shimmer of blue and purple, like right here. So that is Boulder Opal from Colorado. These are from water opal, blue water opal from Peru. And obviously dust that I got off of Amazon. So there is that. Okay, second. We did the same thing. You could do the same thing with opal and moldavite as long as you have a common, and be respectful about it. So there are those two ways. Now, so with that being said, let's go with our mid, which is Larimar. So this is Larimar. So this is like mid-grade Larimar. Larimar only comes out of the Dominican Republic, and it actually is more expensive now, being the fact that it is more dangerous to mine, being the fact that the mine in the Dominican Republic is underwater. So they only allow very little limited quality and quantity of it because it's dangerous even to mine it on low tide. So I have a few varieties of Larimar. So I have Larimar chips. So these are more blue. I have a pale blue. It almost looks like calcite, but it's not. So this is Larimar. And I have a Larimar. This is more of the higher quality because you can see the different colors of green and blue and yellow and gray. And you can almost see like Larimar has high grade. They have these spots that almost look like lagoon tides or the different colors of the ocean, like tropical oceans. And that's what Larimar reminds me of. This is probably one of the deeper shades that I've seen so far. So I have those varieties. And then we have Seraphinite. Seraphinite is not as cheap as it used to be because my mom, when she started collecting her stones about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, Seraphinite was really cheap and relatively unknown. Seraphinite keeps and connects you to the angelic realm. It connects you to your guides. So as you can see, Seraphinite has these pattern, like feather-like patterns. So my mom bought 2 of these slabs, and the other is a little bit bigger, for like 50-60 bucks. And this was like 10-12 years ago. Versus now, this ring alone was like 60 bucks that I paid for. And if you've gotten a crystal reading from me, some of you know that you will pick Seraphinite and I will read. And I also have this, which is the deeper version, but it has a little bit of like white gray feather in it. So that is my Seraphite connection. And here's the back. So look at that pattern. So this is the polished side and this is the raw side. So look at that formation. It's a beautiful. So you are going to obviously do the same technique, or you can breathe into it. So it's interesting that I did not think of this. Someone actually told me about this from a group that I'm in on Facebook called Soothing Spirits or Soothing Souls. And she was saying that she actually breathes into her crystals. And so that's another way if you are into something like that. So we are going to breathe into the crystal and ask that we are infused with either or. So let's go high grade Seraphinite. All right, from the highest high, I call upon the energy of Seraphinite. And then I breathe in the energy through my being and into the crystal. And you can breathe however deeply, how many times you want. Let's go with that. So here is our Larimar. So with our Larimar, let's also breathe into it. Just call it in. use your intuition when you work with stones like this, because I heard for the Larimar, take 4 deep breaths and imagine myself in this cave or underwater swimming in the Dominican Republic in the tropical waters of Larimar. So they told me to take 4 deep breaths and breathe in. Okay. Now, we have malachite. So we're going to use a double termulated part of malachite. Well, excuse me, mulnavite. We're going to wait. So we're going to take our malachite. So we're actually going to use this palm. As you can see, this is a lot more clearer version. So I have different versions of malachite. Malachite is one of these stones I don't really like working with, because in raw form, malachite is actually really poisonous. So you want to wash your hands immediately, never touch your face. It's the same thing with azurite. Azurite is extremely poisonous and toxic. So when working with malachite, always wash your hands, whether it's raw or polished. So I have a few versions of unpolished, and I have a lot more malachite in like actual preserved. And as you can see, so I have my malachite bracelet. I have this slab. So I want you to look at like the petals almost. And I also have this. So this is what I've been working with a lot more frequently. And this actually has a little bit that shimmer. I don't know if you could pick it up. So there is a bit of shimmer and raw right there where it was cut. You can see it more so right there. So you want to make sure that you wash your hands. Now, the reason I don't like working with malachite, because when I first was introduced to it, I actually had a really bad experience. And as bad as this is, I should not be judging the malachite, because it's not the malachite's problem. It's the fact that malachite is an actual extreme energy enhancer, just like selenite and quartz is. Malachite can influence your mood if you're already in a mood. So say if you're having a good mood, you want to program it and be like, malachite, I need to have a good mood. I'm in a good mood. Please don't pick up on my bad emotions. This is kind of why, and no one really told me that until I had a bad freak out and I was just extremely moody, and pardon my language, I was just a complete cunt. And it was just out of context. Malachite is actually great for the heart space and for your solar plexus. So it's masculine and feminine at the same time. So if you want to do this, charge it in the sunlight and in the moonlight. So you get the double effect. So 24 hours basically. So you have the bubbles and then you have lines. So I have this, and I have it also in palms. So you can kind of see that this is more minty. So it almost looks like a dye job, but that's actually real. This is kind of like, we always thought that this was fake because of that large dye deposit right there. So what had happened, what we found out, was it is actually real. However, it's a different stone that they grinded up real malachite to make the coloring. They ground up the malachite and put it into a powder and then dyed it with that. However, that dye deposit right here is too big and those lines are too symmetrical. So it's basically a toss-up between light and dark. This is one of the very first pieces of, whether real or fake, mid malachite that my mom ever purchased. And she has had this for almost 15 years. Malachite is one of my mom's favorite stones to work for. Malachite and to buy. So, oh yeah, and then this. So these are the polished versions. I have this. Now we're going to get into the raw. So I'm not really going to be touching. So this is called velvet. So when you hold it up to light, it looks like velvet. Can you see the shimmer? So again, when you grind this up or you touch your face in any way, shape, or form, or get it on your face, your nose, go to the poison control center, because too much of this in your system will actually kill you. So we have sub specimens, meaning that malachite sometimes comes crossed with either azurite or chrysocolla. Now I have a form of velvet raw like that, but it's on a deeper color. So this was a gift. So this is raw malachite. So it's hair-like. So this is malachite with chrysocolla. So can you see like the white gray in it? And here is the back. So chrysocolla usually is blue, like pale sky blue or teal. Now this is malachite with azurite, and it's raw form. So malachite gets its coloring because it has copper and arsenic in it, and this is azurite. Now this is another version of azurite that has not been cut or polished. So this is basically what they call blueberry azurite, or so it's pretty. So you're definitely, and it's not like I don't have to shower after this anyway, so, and this needs to be washed. So with this being said, we're gonna go in. You can either scan it or we can program it. So I have touched all of this energy, so I want to transfer all that energy that I've just touched, and I actually want to do it that way. So I imagine that I have a pocket of all that energy, all that malachite energy in my hand still, and I want to pull it into the stone. So malachite, because I have your pocketed energy within my yin hand, which is my moon hand. So I am right hand dominated. So this is my right hand and this is my left hand. So this is my yin hand or my moon hand. So this would be my sun hand because I'm right hand dominant. This is my masculine hand. Feminine, masculine, moon, sun. So, and I am a feeler. I'm an energy feeler. So when you see me, if you crystal shop or basically tarot, any type of spiritual energy, I will hover my moon hand, my yin hand over the stones, and I will ask the stone that I need when I go buy it to come forward. So if I'm shopping with my mom never picks out stones. She's always picked me out one too. So I'll just ask her or ask the stone to be like, hey, like, which one's for mom? Which one's for me? And I'll fill it out and I'll pick it out. So because I have this pocket, clear quartz, I ask that you pull all that energy of that malachite out of my yin hand and infuse it, and whatever else that is there, remove it please and disperse it. Thank you. I let go. So that is a fourth way you can do it, is basically touching a stone and taking the energy. However, that's not always ethical. It'd be different if that is your own stone. Like these are my mom or myself stone, then that would be ethical. You can't just go to a crystal shop or from someone and take that energy and put it in and transmute it into the other. It's not ethical. The same thing. Now that that is done, I have the chaurite and I have the moldavite. Moldavite is extremely expensive. It is a tektite. It only comes out of the Czech Republic, and you get it from light green to dark green. So I have a multiple. I have different versions of them. So I have some pendants and some chips. So here are the pendants. This one has a little bit of red in the back, and I don't know if that's because it's the yeah, but this one has a rift in it. So this was the very first, oh, you can kind of see the red right there in that rift, and that's not the camera or my finger. So that was the first piece of malachite that I actually purchased for myself, and that was my second pendant. So yeah, so this is actually a piece that was gifted to me, and the rest of these were bought a long time ago. So I have a lot. And moldavite, when it is expensive, or I can actually find it on the market for say 60 to 100 bucks, I'll pick up a few pieces, but that's if it's like 60-70 bucks. The most I've seen moldavite, like a piece like this will probably go for maybe $200, $300, $400 because you pay per gram. So moldavite is a tektite that comes from space. I just dropped a piece. It comes from outer space. It's a meteorite that impacted the Czech Republic, and a lot of people are buying it because it is a great vibrational riser. It's good for opening your third eye and getting connected to the spirit realm. So this is the clearest piece I have. So this is like the greener gray side versus the deeper, which looks like that, or like this. So that's pretty dark. I think this is probably the darkest. So it's olivine color. So you can scan them. So we're going to use a double termulated. And the reason why we're using double termulated for the moldavite is because I was actually told to do this. Because a double termulated point is a receiver and it's a giver. So basically whatever side you program for receiving and removing, you would basically go like this. So with this being said, we're going to program the moldavite, this side, to receive it. So we're going to receive it from spirit. And then the transmitter, we're going to scan. So I'm just going to hold it right here at the base where it's neutral. Spirit, we ask you for the receiving end to borrow the energy of the highest moldavite energy that we can have for right now. Please and thank you. Again, this is not all the way ethical, so please don't go to your crystal shop and basically pick up moldavite and then pocket that energy, and then go home and scan your quartz. Please don't do that. This is just for educational purposes, okay? So for our receiving end, moldavite, please lend me your energy so I can transmute this energy and send it. Another way I really want to touch my face right now. I really do. It's just so bad. So when you work with moldavite, you can get moldavite flush, which is basically headaches, heat. It almost feels like you're in a fever. That is what moldavite flush is because your energy has to match its vibration, not the other way around. It is not going to make you, or basically make you feel comfortable so it matches you. No. You have to raise your vibration by working with it. The first time I had moldavite flush, it sucked because I had like a migraine the next day. It was really that bad. My face was like feverish. It was puffy. And so moldavite is basically I use it when I use it. However, you ask my mom's favorite stone is moldavite and malachite. So we have a lot of pieces of moldavite, obviously, around the house, along with malachite. It's pretty much one of our most used stones, being the fact that my mom does not walk around with less than 6 pieces on her, earrings, jewelry, a couple pieces that she has in a locket. So malachite is not cheap. You're going to pay per the gram for it. And make sure that you have mine direct from the Czech Republic or your dealers are reputable, because real moldavite does not have bubbles in it, okay? Real malachite, same thing. Excuse me, I said malachite, moldavite. Real moldavite does not have bubbles. And it does not really ever come in any other color but green, or like this kind of gray green color, this olivine color. Okay, thank you. Usually I would wash my hands after handling each stone before I pick it up, but the bathroom's that way and I don't. We have our last stone, which is charit. Charit comes out of Russia, and it comes in different colors. So we have this, which is purple. You have a little bit of white and some brown, kind of orangey color. And then we have the darker hues. So this one has a little bit of green in it, maybe like greenish yellow. So there is that. This has wisps, like hair-like. So I just want to say this because I've actually had someone happen. They got scammed. Someone bought what they thought was green charoite. So what they were sold was actually seraphonite. But they got the charoite price tag. Charoite is actually getting extremely expensive now because people are, it's mainstream. Charoite is such a good awakener for the third eye and the crown. So this I think was 28. This was 26. This was from this is actually a bead from a string of beads. I think that costed like $50. And this one really stood out to me because of it looked like tree roots to me when I first had it. And with that string of beads, I would actually wear it as a headband. I would tie it into my hair and then pin. So I have different versions of charoite. I have a bracelet, and then I have a plate. So this plate alone was $100. And then we have these. So as you can see, these are like wisps. So this is like medium. This is pretty light. So the darker the color of the purple, almost black, is the highest grade. So this is like on the medium scale. And as you can see, here's the darker kind of color. So this almost looks like cloud formations. And then here are the more darker pieces. And here is the light. So that's pretty light. So with that being said, we're going to take our last quartz. And we are just going to simply ask. We're going to breathe and ask. You know what? Let's just do all three. Let's breathe, let's ask for it, and then we'll scan it. So we'll start by asking. It's actually funny because I can actually see like a purple laser pointer being like wrapped around this, like in my head. That's interesting. Okay, we're going to breathe charoite energy. We're going to channel it from source. So source energy, please, may I have the charoite energy that I can breathe into this. Thank you. And we're going to do this 6 times. Now imagine on your exhale, your breath is actually breathing purple charoite energy or black charoite. You know, like the deep, deep, deep purple. And now we are going to scan. So we are actually off to the side right here. I know I have laundry just piled up. So I wanted to show you because I can't turn my camera around right now. So we're actually going to scan our charoite. And that is how you program. That is how you program quartz of any type of stone that you need to take its place, whether or not you have the crystal or not. Please be mindful that do not rip the energy off because it is not ethical. Make sure you ask specifically from source or you have permission from the shop owner or from the crystal people that you are borrowing the energy from, and you must give it back. You cannot just keep it. After you're done, you will intuitively know that you need to discharge the energy. So I will properly show you how to discharge. You're going to take your sage or whatever you use to cleanse your stones with. And you're just going to go around the stone until you think it's done, or wave it or roll like this over into the smoke if you're going to do a smoke cleanse. And then you're going to thank the stones, source. You're going to thank each and every piece. So we have thank you to the Larimar, thank you to the Seraphonite, thank you to the rose quartz, thank you to the malachite, thank you to the opals, thank you to the moldavite, thank you to the chaurite, thank you. Thank you to spirit, thank you to source, thank you to the actual quartz for amplifying this energy and allowing us to have this. The reason why I wanted to do this is actually I had to program, and this is another way. So I have this deck. I actually have several crystal decks. So I have this deck. So this is from Doreen Virtue, the Crystal Angels deck. So in this deck, there were 2 cards that I was flipping through the deck, and I was saying if there's any cards present or crystals that I need to work with, the energy specifically that will help me on my healing journey, please come forward, flipped out, which was rubellite, which is actually pink tourmaline. So that was really loud, and I'm sorry to the crystals for that. So sorry. So rubellite is actually pink tourmaline, and I did not have sugilite. So I took this crackle quartz and my regular quartz bracelet, and I actually have the cards after I sage, gave up to the bracelets, to the energy, to source. I asked the bracelets be infused with each energy. So one, and then I actually set the cards on selenite to charge and put the bracelets on top. So that was another way you can do it. If you have cards or you have pictures, just ask for that energy. So with that being said, I will sage and ground you out. I will tell you, if you work with moldavite and you work with malachite, the thing I hate about working with malachite is I always get pocket energy in my shoulders where I keep a lot of stress and I keep a lot of heart repression. So again, malachite is great because it is like moldavite, it's a stone of change and transformation, which I am working with malachite because I do repress a lot of emotions. So I use my malachite to enhance the emotions I feel every single day. I ask one emotion to come forward, and I am journaling, as you can see. I am journaling my feelings every single day when I meditate with moldavite or malachite, specifically malachite. And it's very easy because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of moldavite. I'm not really a big fan of malachite either. So moldavite is more of, I need to connect to spirit. But it's kind of like, okay, I need to raise my vibration to spirit as well. So I will use it like that. So that is kind of like my last ditch effort. And I know the stones probably think, well, we're here for you, but yeah. So anyways, I want to sage ground you out, and I'm going to give you some cinnamon. Again, sorry for the background noise and me dropping crystals left and right. It would not be me if I didn't drop crystals at least once. So we're going to go cinnamon to inflate any energy that is already there, to bring it to your awareness so you may dispel it. If you're working with high vibrations, I also want to say get yourself some obsidian or some smoky quartz. Being the fact that you will attract a lot more energy that you did not think of. So working specifically with moldavite or malachite, I always like to keep obsidian around so I can ground out into it, since I always tend to pocket energy in my back. So with this being said, thank you very much. Thank you to our stones, and thank you for watching this video, and thank you for being here. Peace, love, and happiness. I love you. Make sure you love me. I would blow you a kiss, but I have malachite on my hands along with azurite, and so it's a bad idea. So air kisses. Bye.